How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Why We Love Horror 3.0. This is episode 54. I'm Maher, and that's just Abby Brooks. Aaron could not be with us this week. Abby, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I think this will be fun flying solo this week, but yeah, this will be a good one.
Yeah, we can just kind of jump right into it. I mean, this is a movie that, this is a weird week because a couple of movies came out this week, but none of them were big movies that had a ton of fanfare. This is a Shudder original movie and it's one of the Shudder movies that's getting a theatrical release. So I figure this one will get a little bit more buzz than the other movie that we covered this week. But it's called Azrael. That trailer gives you more information than you kind of get in the movie itself, which is weird. It's a weird sell.
Right.
I guess you had to see the trailer to see the movie. And I'm not hating on this movie at all. It's not, I think all told, non-really spoiler alert, it's not bad. Samara Weaving is great, as usual. E.L. Katz is a very decent director, and he's part of that whole the old school Adam Wingard crew, Simon Barrett and them are all involved in this. So there's a lot of competent people involved, and there's nothing technically wrong with this movie. I think the effects are great. That's all the good stuff. Abby, what's your good stuff?
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. Samara Weaving was my favorite part because she usually is my favorite part of whatever movie she's in. And that was really the only thing I knew about this movie going in, honestly. I didn't really know. I mean, I read the synopsis before watching the movie, but I didn't know what it was about. I just knew she was in it, and she was covered in blood again from the images I saw. But yeah, she was the best part. Yeah, I think the movie looks really good. You see in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler, these creature type things. I think those looked really good, and the blood and gore that goes with them, I think that all looked really good. I think the main problem is the story itself, which
I'll give a synopsis just because I'll do my best. The trailer says, we're in a post-rapture, I feel it's somewhere in Europe, just given the people involved. It's post-rapture Earth. But everyone's quiet, and they're not quiet for a quiet place reasons, because they make a shit ton of noise. They make a ton of noise. But they don't talk. Everyone either won't talk or can't talk. That's never really explained. Mm-hmm. There's those creatures, they're like demons, but they're blind, but they're not blind. And there's a cult, and the head of the cult is pregnant. That's the movie.
Yes.
Well, Abby and I are going to do our best to try to talk through, kind of like what I did with Never Let Go, talk through what we saw.
Right.
So the movie starts, Samara Weaving and the other guy, Nathan Stewart Jarrett. Mm-hmm. I got to talk about this cast a little bit too, but they're in the woods. They're clearly on their own. and she's picking berries and he's got a fire, and she gets pissed that he has a fire because that's obviously going to attract these cultists who they're very nearby. Go ahead, you can take over from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really explained, like Samara Weaving and her man friend, like what is their connection to this group? Why are they? Yeah, they're all in very close proximity. I would think maybe too close in proximity if they don't want to be found by them. You're not really told, like, were they once a part of this group and got exiled, or like why are they being hunted? For some reason they are being hunted to be sacrificed to these dark looking creatures, which again, you're not really told what they are either. You're told that it's a post-rapture world, so I guess you could assume that they're either like demons. I was thinking like fallen angels or archangels, something like that. They don't tell you any of it, so you just kind of have to go with it.
They're definitely like cannibalistic. They eat people.
Yeah.
And Samara Weaving, who is Azrael, she's Azrael. They also, like, all the characters, when the credits roll, all the characters have names, which is odd because there's no dialogue in this movie. So it's
that person.
Oh, it's Olaf. Oh, it's great. Yeah. So, but she's been branded. She has like a cross. They branded like her neck with like a cross. So there's a lot of religious iconography in this movie, but it's the same movie with or without it.
Right. And I don't even know if, like, again, it doesn't even seem like they didn't need to, but it didn't seem like any of it was necessarily like biblically accurate. Again, it didn't need to be, but that just kind of confused me even more because I'm like, okay, it's the rapture. Like, what does this mean? What does this mean? I don't think they were trying to do anything with that. So again, it just made it a little bit more confusing with all of that.
Here's the one thing I'll say to kind of try to make sense of it. So it's the rapture, right? So with the rapture, all of the righteous people have been, they go to heaven. So the people left over are the non-believers and the Satanists, right? So you have to automatically assume if we're post-rapture and these people are worshiping these demons in the woods, they're the Satanists. And I think if you run with that, the movie makes a little bit more sense because they're a satanic cult.
Right.
Because I think the cross on her neck might technically be an upside down cross. Like,
so I read into it a little bit because I was very confused and I wanted to know like what all of the symbolism meant in this movie. And I guess like the director has spoken about the movie and kind of given a little bit more insight. Not really, because it still doesn't make sense from after reading what he said. I think the branding means that I read somewhere that their vocal cords have actually been ripped out. Now, again, the movie doesn't tell you that. You just have to do your own research afterwards. The other thing is the name of Samara Weaving, Azrael. I looked into that because I'm like, I've heard that name before, and I guess it's not even like a Christianity type of thing. It's more like an Islam or Judaism, and it's the death angel or something like that. So then knowing that information, you're sitting in the movie and I'm like, am I supposed to be rooting for her right now? Or is she being hunted for a good reason? Like,
it's very hard to tell who you're supposed to root for. Right. Go ahead.
No, that was kind of what I was thinking. And then by the time you get to the end, I think they still make it a little difficult to know. They kind of leave that open.
Well, I think like, one, I know Azrael because it's Gargamel's cat from the Smurfs. That's Azrael to me. But besides that, like it's very clear, like the cult, they're bad because like they're sacrificing people and they're doing like cruel stuff. Like they leave the boyfriend like partially crucified to a tree. For some reason, there's a dude in the middle of the movie who is not related to her or the cult who shows up in like a decked out like Ford F-150 with like floodlights all over it, and he's talking, but he's not speaking. I don't know what language he was speaking.
At first, he started talking, and I was like, leaning forward, I'm like, I can't understand what he's saying. I'm like, oh, he's not speaking English.
I couldn't tell you what language he was speaking, and I think maybe he wasn't speaking a language that we know.
Yeah.
I don't know. If anything, it literally with the cast in this movie, it could literally be anything. Because in the cast, you have like 2 Danish people, a Finnish person, an Estonian person. Samara Weaving's from Australia. The other dude's from England. They just picked a person from each country and threw them in this movie. And they're like, guess what? No lines. Doesn't matter. Yeah, all over the map with this cast. But yeah, there's one dude who talks, picks her up, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. And then they snipe that guy.
Right. And it's like, that's it.
Where does he live? Where does he live? Where does he have that sweet truck? Because all the cultists are driving around like junkyard beaters from The Walking Dead.
Right. I thought he was going to be our character, like our one character in the movie that was going to give us some like background or exposition. And he wasn't. So again, you just kind of have to keep going along with it and like, all right, like when am I going to start learning here?
Yeah. Then you get this whole thing where she like, you don't really get the feel that she's like a badass, but she's like John Rambo. This is the spiritual sequel, no pun intended, to Ready or Not, with just how much ass she kicks, like going through this movie. Because like there's a scene, like it's in the trailer where like the guy's about to shoot her and she does the freaking samurai showdown, like like where she does the pass by and chops the guy's head off. And I was like, where the hell did that come from?
She gets very lucky in some instances also. Like in particular, there's the scene where like, so she does get captured once again by these cult people. She gets captured by them quite a few times and manages to get out. And then the final time they like bury her alive in this weird coffin cave thing where they keep one of these like demon people, and she just gets away from that a little bit too easily, I think.
Well, she gets away because, like I said, the leader of the cult is pregnant. And she had scratched the woman's like pregnancy belly. And when the demon smells her fingers,
it's like, oh,
I didn't stutter. When the demon smells her fingers, he's like, I ain't gonna kill you. So something on her fingers,
right,
he's cool with. And then the big reveal is the woman. It's like a Rosemary's Baby situation upstairs. She's giving birth to the devil, and you actually see the devil. And then Azrael picks up the baby and is holding the baby, and the demons don't attack her. And the movie ends, Jagged Edge style.
Well, and the thing with that is, so you would think these cult people wanted that to happen, but then once this goat creature is born, everybody, like the leader lady kills herself. Like this is an abomination, and like this wasn't supposed to happen. Like it was a mistake. But like, so was that their purpose, or what was their purpose actually?
Maybe she thought she was going to give birth to the savior or whatever, but she wanted giving birth to the antichrist. Like the cult suckered themselves into thinking they were the opposite of what they were.
Yeah. And then
nobody says anything, so don't worry.
Right. It seems like in the end, this is what Samara Weaving wanted the entire time. So that's why I'm like, maybe she was bad. Maybe she was supposed to get sacrificed and gone. I don't know. Again, it, like you said, it just basically ends, and that's that.
And that's basically, and yeah, did we leave anything out you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much the entire movie.
Yeah, and it is, like, don't get me wrong, it sounds like we're being critical of the movie, but like, we'll just get to the ratings. You'll see what we're talking about. Let's get them. Like I said, I'll go first. Not a horrible time. Story is like never let go level brain breaking confusing. Like, but technically, like, you hit no flaws. So like, I'm gonna just those will just cancel each other out, and I wind up at a 3 out of 5. Because like I had a lot of fun watching her kill a lot of people. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. We're pretty much on the same page on this one. I think that this was a creative choice. Like, it's very creative. I think it's pretty, I don't want to say, I mean, it's original for what it is. I mean, I know A Quiet Place did something similar, but this is, to me, this is just a lot different plot-wise than that. So I commend the originality. Again, I really love Samara Weaving and everything that she's in, and I thought the movie looked really great. So I also gave it a 3 out of 5. Because it does drag a little bit with the no speaking sometimes.
The movie is short though. Like they like make you suffer for like 80 something minutes. And I think I made the joke that this is also called like A Not So Quiet Place, Day 5000. It's kind of it just summarizes what the movie's all about.
Yeah.
But not to be undone, we also do the Why We Love Horror Challenger. And if you want to join along, that's the website. And you know what those letters are by now. I've said it 1,000 times. Aaron's not here this week, but he wanted us to tell you he watched Ganja and Heth, which is a 70s, I believe it's like a experimental vampire movie. And the theme for this week is watch an experimental horror movie. So since we ended on you, Abby, you could start.
So I watched a movie. It is a short movie, but it feels really long. I don't know who directed it. It's called Begotten. I know both John and Aaron have seen it.
Oh boy.
I felt like when I finished it, I was going to get a phone call telling me I was going to die in 7 days. Like, that's just how the movie looks. It just looks like the tape from The Ring. You don't know what's happening. It's very pretentious, gross. It just, I don't know. Some people like it. I didn't.
You know, that guy directed Shadow of the Vampire, the William Dafoe movie. It's the same guy. His name's Elias Merhige or Merhige.
Okay.
Sorry if I'm butchering your name, sir. Begotten sucks, by the way. I watched a movie by a director I love a lot, Takashi Miike. I watched The Happiness of the Katakuris, which is bonkers. It is a horror, I guess, comedy musical. There's stop motion animation, which just comes out of nowhere. It goes back and forth between real life action and stop motion animation without warning.
Interesting.
And it is it defies description. I could describe it, but I would describe it in one sentence and it wouldn't really capture what the movie's about. But they do break into song for absolutely no reason a lot. And it's in Japanese too, so it's extra. There's actually a full-fledged karaoke scene in the movie where they're singing and the words appear on the screen, which is I like a lot. Check it out. It's nothing like Audition. Anyway, that'll do it for this week. Vote for me in the face of horror competition, please. I guess I don't think I'm gonna win it, but give me my best shot. If you made it this far in the video, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror, and the TikTok is WWL Horror. Schedule's the same, and I posted a new schedule on the Facebook page, brand new picture. Mondays versus Tuesdays horror headlines. Wednesday special editions of something. Thursday you're watching it. I think next week we'll do Monster Summer because that's coming out. A nice family horror movie with Mel Gibson in it. That's the only thing coming out, so we'll definitely cover that. And then every Friday is Why We Love Horror Trivia. So until next time, I'm John Maher. Not Abby Brooks. I think we'll have Aaron back next week. But whatever happens, and we'll see you then.